Here's a quick tip. When you're thinking about doing preliminary grading, use these contour labels and just draw in your elevations from your constraints to whatever you're working on. So for instance, this contour down here is a 30, and if we start there and work our way up, we can get to 50 there, 60 there. We start here at 50, 60, 70, 80, 85. Well, we really don't even need a wall here because we have plenty of space in that direction. We could start at this, work our way down, and we get down to the 50. So we can actually expand this pond out a little bit bigger in this direction. We start at this 70 contour line here. We go up to 80, go up to 84. We're actually going to have more room up here. We need a path at 14% from the bottom of the pond that starts at 50. Well, every 10 feet vertically is going to be 72 feet horizontally. So 72 feet up to from 50 to 60, it really needs to go in this direction because that's where our 60 is going to be. Our 60 is not going to be up here. So this path for the access path is really going to need to do something more like this. And we've kind of redrawn it to fit within these proposed elevations that we've just drawn in. So for instance, the 80 is in line with this 80 here. This 70 is in between this 70. This 60 is by this 60. So we can kind of figure out what this needs to be, and by drawing in these constraints, 60, 70, 80, 90, we know we don't need a wall there. And then we can simply add these spots to assign an elevation based on the text that we've typed in there by using the BELEV command, BELEV. And once those blocks have elevations, we can add them to the surface and modify our surface using these blocks. Then we can just spit out contours from that surface, and it's going to show you which direction all these contour lines go. Another example down here, the top of this berm was at 98, and so to get the access down to the bottom, they're going to need to be spaced out like this. To go from the 1100, there's 1100, but if we kept this flat, we'd have to build a big retaining wall up here just to fill in dirt, but we really could go down to 90 and then back up to 1100. So the access path might be something like that. We'll grade from 84 up to 90, keep it flat for 15 feet for the access path, and then we'll grade back up to 96 here, and then that's going to tell us what the bottom of our wall is. We grade from the constraint of the property line over this way. 0, 20 feet away is a 10, another 20 feet away is a 20, and then from this, which is 19, down to 29 to 28, we're going to need an 8-foot wall there, which means this wall is probably going to need to stretch out a little bit more towards the south in this direction. We go from 98 up to 12, again that's 28, so we're going to need a 16-foot wall there. So as you're thinking about the preliminary grading, try to get in the habit of just placing these contour spots, contour elevations, working from your constraints towards your chosen constraints or towards your pond or whatever else you need to do. And it's going to become evident after you do a number of these which direction your contour lines need to go. If you just start drawing contour lines, you will either find out that they happen to be in the right place, or you'll find out that they don't happen to be in the right place, and then you need to redraw them again. That's not going to be the most efficient way to get to a good design. The most efficient way is to just think strategically about the design and what needs to be accomplished using these general spot elevations. Here's another quick little technique I want to show you. If you want to not waste space next to a property line, you want to grade continuously, figure out if your contour lines need to generally go in this direction or in this direction. And in this case, we can choose that because we know we want to go from 30 up to 50 or 60 for the pond, and if the 50 or 60 is up here, we know it's going to go down in this direction. So start at the top. The next contour line, give yourself a little margin. In this case, we gave 2 feet from the property line, and and this was just kind of a guidance line. And then I drew a circle of 20 feet. Then I went down to the next contour line. I drew a circle of 40 feet. Then I went down to the next contour line here and drew a circle of 60 feet. Then went down to the last one here and drew one of 80 feet. Then I just draw a polyline from that 70 that we want to start with, go to the tangent of this line, the tangent of that, of that circle, then of that circle, then of that circle, and to the last circle. And now I can just start offsetting these contour lines back in 20-foot increments, and then they happen to line up exactly where they need to on these respective contour lines. And this one, of course, would end up going this way if we needed it to, but we're not going to grade further into the buffer. So then these things go away, and we have a nice shape of the most efficient pathway for this contour line to go. So there's a few techniques that you can use to help figure out the general grading of your site in a much more efficient manner, and then use our Belev command to create a surface with those, and then spit out some contours and get towards the end goal much more quickly. And that's it.